You are now tuned in to the Black Law Students Association of Canada's YouTube.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to BLSA Canada's Fireside Chat series. As you know, this is the 30th anniversary of BLSA Canada, and we've decided to kind of look back at some of the incredible things we've done and then also the people that we have met along the way. And one of those is Jacqueline Beckles. Very pleased that she's able to join us today for a conversation for this Fireside Chat. My name is Carrie Ann Cornwell. I am a second year student at Osgoode Hall Law School and Schulich School of Business. And I'm also the incoming president of the Black Law Students Association of Canada. And Jacqueline, I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Carrie Ann. Well, my name is Jacqueline Beckles. I am a general counsel as of yesterday with the Department of Justice Canada.
That's so exciting. Congrats.
Thank you. I'm very excited. And I've been working there for 12 years in areas of extradition and mutual legal assistance. And I'm a criminal lawyer by training, by profession. And yeah, and community work, of course. Secretary of the Cable National, the Canadian Association of Black Lawyers, and vice president of the Ottawa chapter of the same association. And I do some work with the Law Society around equity issues. So I also kind of hold it down in the community as much as I can.
Yes, Jacqueline, you're definitely a leader with BLSA. You've been a leader with BLSA, continuing to be a leader with Cable and in all of your other community work. So it really is our pleasure to have you here today for this fireside chat. So thank you very much. Yeah. So let's start with what comes to mind when you hear the Black Law Students Association of Canada.
Family, definitely family. When I read the question, that's the first word that jumped to my mind, because the history that I have with BLSA and the relationships that I've developed, I would say truly it is like a sorority or fraternity experience. So the bonding and the fellowship and lifting one another up and supporting one another through whatever we're going through. The only comparison I can make is family.
I think that's amazing, and that's the kind of thing that's the kind of legacy that I think we all want to continue for BLSA, whether it's at the chapter level, whether it's at the national level. That's so important and really inspiring in a way as well. So I'm glad that family is what comes to mind.
100%. I think, when I first got into law school, I'm from Montreal, and my experience there has been that it's a really it's a different type of way to move than when I moved to Ottawa. So I went to law school in Ottawa in 1998, and moving from Montreal, where I knew where I could get hair products, I knew where I could get my food, I knew where I could go if I was in trouble, I knew where my people were, and we had our community centers and our organizations and know how the city moves when you grew up there. And moving to Ottawa, it was a whole different world. I used to say, actually, it was like I moved to a different planet, because I just you couldn't find the same resources. And I was in the civil law program because I intended to go back to Montreal. And it was like I had been dropped on this plane of existence without any support, and it was all in French, which was my choice. But the people were not as welcoming and kind. So I actually bonded more with common law students than I did with the civil law students. And BLSA was definitely a common law thing at the time. And I'm so glad to see that it's bridged the divide between common and civil law. And yeah, I went to my first conference in 1999. Loved it so much that I ran for president in 99, 2000, and never looked back. Formed great bonds with the Osgood students and with the students or student in Saskatchewan at the time. And I really hope that they've built up their cohort since then, got more color over in the prairies. That's important. And yeah, so all I could say is definitely family. Those are the same people who I would reach out to now if, there are things going on in my life that I wanted to celebrate. I will call my BLSA people for sure.
That's amazing. I'm sure you're gonna have a nice chat with them now very soon. So,
Absolutely.
so I know you did speak a little bit about, things that did influence your decision to join BLSA Canada when you were in law school. But I'm wondering if you want to elaborate a little on why you decided to join BLSA Canada, and if there were any challenges that you were facing at the time that, choice.
100%. So apart from the move, because you move from one city to another to go to school, and you don't necessarily know a lot of people. You're in a program where you're learning all these new things, and I don't know if Smithers is still a case that they teach in crim law, but
Yeah.
they teach you. Oh, real? For real? They haven't gotten over Smithers yet?
Yeah, I had to do Smithers in my crim.
So all of those experiences where you're like, okay, so this black man was called out his name and he punched this other dude and the dude died and he's going to jail. I can't, this doesn't make sense to me on a basic and fundamental level. Like all processing those kind of things, the microaggressions, living in existence where you're basically the only face in your class. You're looking around the room and you're like, no, nobody here looks like me. Okay. Just gonna sit in the back and be quiet. I really hope that has changed over the years, but in case it hasn't, BLSA Canada is here for you. And there's the support systems that you get through this organization they're huge. The connections that you get, just being able to call somebody who can share the experience of what that is like, it is different from other programs, because basically we're learning that the structure of law allows for these injustices to happen without redress. And that's something that is a hard pill to swallow, because people are trying to teach you what the law is, and your natural inclination might be this, but this is not justice. So how can you teach law without justice? And that's difficult. So you need people who can relate to that, and other law students are well placed to do that. And then you come out into the work world and have to navigate that. It's a lot. It is definitely a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know definitely when it comes to BLSA, whether it's at the chapter level or national level, I know that it was very important for me to kind of find that group and just to have that network. I know that, there's so much support that comes from the chapters and national. And for myself, I'm from a small town in Ontario, and I think, it didn't really click right away that, I was the only Black kid in my like high school, essentially. And I think it gets to a point where, you want to find more of your people, you want to find that community. And then, really having those conversations with myself, I wanted to find that everywhere. And I'm so appreciative of BLSA for that reason.
100%. And you go into work once you go through school, and then you go into the work world, and those things continue, and you're still going to need those same resources and those same people who will be able to understand, oh, I walked into court today and the judge thought I was my client's mother. How do I process this? Or or the other side, the counsel on the other side was kind of, throwing a little bit of shade. And I'm not sure whether it was, especially as a Black woman, I'm not sure whether it was misogyny. I'm not sure whether it was racism. I'm not sure whether it was ageism, because I'm young and he's old, and I have to navigate this. Like the intersectionality is huge.
Yeah.
So you need the support just to be able to talk about it, because there's not talk about this stuff, and be able to navigate it.
Yeah.
And those things are where I think organizations like BLSA Canada come into play and support the students in a
And I
very
really,
real way.
yeah, and I just want to shout out, alumni as well, who are always happy to have those conversations. And I think that I've also noticed kind of on social media a little bit, like those experiences are kind of being brought to light a little bit more, and there's less. I don't want to say less concern, but certainly I think those conversations are happening a little bit more
Yes.
loudly. So it's great to have that support with students, but then also with the alum who have not forgotten about BLSA, and then even when we become young lawyers.
100%. I will tell you a very short anecdote. When I was first called, so I think I might have been in like the 3-month window after my articles and my call to the bar, had my first case where it was a civil case. I had to appear. What the person is titled the case management master, and I said to my boss, okay, so when I go in, how is he referred to? Is he referred to as Your Honor, Your Worship? And I was told, no, you call him Master. And I was like, nope. No, I don't. Not in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So
Oh
what?
God.
And when I said, I was like, okay, so no, that might be what you call him, but what do I call him? And there was no, like, it was blank stares. It was like, well, his title is Master. I was like,
Yeah.
not gonna happen. So it's and I don't think it's changed. I think I saw an ad in the Ontario Reports where they're looking to hire this role, and I know that there is a bill before the the House to amend the title.
Okay.
I'm like, it's 2021, people. Come on.
Time to drop that language.
Yeah.
I think this is also something we've kind of touched on a bit, but what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned over the course of your involvement with BLSA? And then I think especially how has that influenced, your future career?
Oh, some of the lessons I learned. Oh, be kind. BLSA taught me how to be kind to people. I mean, the world is harsh enough without a lot of the crap that we do to ourselves and to each other. And and living in a world like living in the law school world teaches you how to be competitive, and sometimes it teaches you how to be a little bit cutthroat and how to get your way, how to advocate to get your way. But it doesn't teach you kindness. It doesn't teach you humility. It doesn't teach you it often doesn't even teach you respect. And I think keeping in mind that there were other people around who would support me helped me to be like, okay, you know what? You're a human being, right? You're not a lawyer. You're not this stereotypical lawyer. You are a human being, and these are your brothers and sisters. These are your colleagues,
Yeah.
and yeah, and you see yourself. Once you can see yourself in other people, you actually start to be kinder and develop relationships, which may not be your natural inclination because you feel a little bit cutthroat and a little bit like, a little competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember sitting in BLSA Canada, like group sessions, study sessions, where we're passing our torts notes to one another, where we used to like kind of hoard them to ourselves because we wanted to get that little leg up. We wanted to be first in class, but it's
Yeah.
like, oh, my sister, you missed class. Here are my notes. So it kind of developed that a little bit.
No, I think that's great. And that's definitely, I see that even, with the chapters now, and in the way that, the upper years are supporting people behind them, and even supporting each other, just in the way that you talked about. I think that
Yes, lift
those
and
are
lift high.
important lessons.
Yes, 100%. And now in my work, where there's still competition. Like I have a really great job and I travel quite a bit and I get to do so very much. There was an opportunity at one point. I had been going to the same conference every year, and the conference travels. One year it's in Beijing, and one next year it's in Argentina. And one year I wasn't chosen to go to the conference; my colleague was. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, but that's my gig. But then I thought again, like, you know what? No, I don't own it, right? I own my space in this world, but I don't own the things that come with that. Like I'm here, and what is mine, and if it was mine, nobody could take it from me.
Yeah.
And so when the person came to me, I was like, I'm really sorry I got chosen over you. I was like, it just wasn't mine. That's all. And I think that comes from BLSA. That comes from like the learning and the training and the fellowshipping and the collective of, we share things. It doesn't always have to be Jacqueline Beckles. It is us, not just I.
I think that's such a great lesson, and definitely something that I will remember that. It's not I, it's us. We're in this together. I think that's so important. As you know, we are commemorating 30 years of BLSA Canada. I know we're so excited, and it's so exciting to be a part of this too. So, in this time, like, what have you seen as the greatest shifts in the organization and the greatest changes? And then what do you hope to see over the next 5, 10, or even 15 years?
I think the biggest shift I have seen is how networked BLSA Canada is. So it has become this powerhouse across Canada of young men and women who are not just students, but they are advocates, they are leaders, and they are comfortable. I love the fact that you guys are comfortable taking your spot and pushing for your spot at the table. I love that. And the fact that we in the alum are able to support you in that and say, look, no, you've got to hear you have to listen to the students, because they're not just dollars at, when you're looking at the faculty or looking at the university to say, this is just income. No, these are people. And they have a voice in their education, and they have a voice in the world. That's what you're training them to do. So it behooves you to listen to them when they have a complaint or an issue or a question or a concern. Listen to them. And I think BLSA Canada has been great about taking that space and leading in that way. Sometimes BLSA Canada is out in front before like Cable and Saba and Fackle, and you guys are like, you've got your hand on the pulse and you're quick. And I love that, because that's how your generation is. Whereas my generation is like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's collaborate. Let's get consensus. And eventually the letter will go out. Boss is like, look, 140 characters, we're tweeting. Boom, we said it. Oh, you need that translated? All right. Done.
Listen, yeah, the translation has been top notch. I have to give props for that.
That is fire. That is fire. It is awesome to watch. I get my news from y'all. It's really
great. No, I think that's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, it's good to hear you say that, and that's something, it's encouraging, it's like, it's motivating. That's how we need to continue. What would you like to see from us in the future then?
I would like to see collaboration. I would like to, I will be the first one to say that once we've graduated school and we're in our careers and we've started our families and, we've got, our priorities may have shifted, but BLSA is always like top of mind. It's, what do the students need? Do they need anything? Okay, I haven't heard from them, so I'm going to keep going. And I think what a lot of the professionals and the lawyers and the people who've moved on from their studies, What we need to know is what you need from us.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? Like, we lift as we climb is my motto. So if there is, it goes beyond just hiring and staffing. It goes to sponsorship. It goes to mentorship. It goes to, like, what areas do you want to get into that you need a door open for you? But from the student perspective, it's not only like, what can I do for you, but it might be, what can you do for me? I might be working on a project that I'm like, I could really use some student help on this. Are
Mm-hmm.
students willing to lend their energy, their sweat equity, their talents, their research abilities, and and sometimes it's with no cost, because I might be a sole practitioner and I don't have the means necessarily to pay, but it will give you the experience. So there's always this quid pro quo that can come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That might be an avenue where we can help each other and we progress. And in the future, my networks become your networks.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's great. And I think that's noted about ways that we can work together. And again, like relying on the alum and relying on the lawyers that are offering their time and their resources, and then how we can help too. I think there's definitely so much space for that, and looking forward to see what the future could hold between BLSA and Cable.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that door, I don't even think there's a door. It's a portal. It's an open doorway. Where it's like, I can't even say the door is always open. I don't think there's a door. It's just you
Yeah.
transition from one to the other, and
Mhm.
there's a welcome mat. That's all there is. Just
I
the
love
welcome
it. I love it. Jacqueline, I just want to thank you once again so much for joining us for our BLSA Canada Fireside Chat series. It's just such a pleasure to have someone who's a mentor and a leader in the community, continuing to be involved with BLSA, especially in this way. We really appreciate you taking the time. I want to give you the final word as we close off our discussion, and again, just to thank you for coming.
I To all of the students out there, I will say, keep on keeping on. Be strong, be fearless, be courageous, and know, absolutely without a doubt, know that there is an entire system of support out there that you can tap into if you need it.
I love that. Be strong, be fearless, be courageous. I appreciate that so much, Jacqueline. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's been my honor.